Welcome back to the Comical Engineers, Fun and Facts with LCTS. In Part 1, Jim Leffler shared how his early experiences at Occidental Petroleum and major safety events like Piper Alpha shaped his perspective on risk and responsibility. Now, in Part 2, Jim opens up about the values behind his leadership: faith, family, and safety. He discusses the certifications, culture, and relationships that built his company's foundation, and why genuine professional connections are still the key to long-term success. Let's get started.
And so we started a company called Custifab Service Company, and that eventually we ended up changing our name to InServe, or Integrated Service Company. But I started off as their safety guy, if you will. I kind of started over, and then we from there moved on, and within about a year, they basically called me in and closed the door, and they said, "Gosh, Jim, you know everybody." And I said, "Well, I don't know about everybody, but I know quite a few." So they said, "Well, we think it'd be a great thing to start a safety services company. Have you ever thought about starting a business?" And so that's the thing that kind of motivated me to move into really starting my first company.
Nice. Jim, I also see that you have you carry a lot of certifications on your own back, and I think that's a testament to not only knowing the industry, knowing what you, but walking the walk, and it provides certainly the leadership for those that you need in your team and on the teams to have that same consideration. So I see that those certifications have come over the years with experience and in new areas as well. So there's what's going to be the new wave of the requirements in some of those kind of areas where that your specialty people are going to have the needed training and certifications that our owners and operators are going to be looking for.
Well, that's a great point, in terms of, the as is versus the to be. And, one of the, well, first of all, the as is I am a certified safety professional by examination. And that is examination very similar to what a CPA or an accountant goes through. It's a series of 8-hour exams. And then once you become an associate safety professional through the first 8-hour exam, then you wait a certain number of years of experience. And then once you have that experience, then you're allowed to sit for the certified safety professional exam. And mine is in comprehensive practice. And so I really attest that that is essential to have true safety professionals that are running your program and your process. It's just not a guy with a hard hat and a clipboard that you put an orange vest on or something and say you're a safety guy, because the business itself has taken on and continuing to evolve from a technical standpoint that really requires what I feel need to be degreed safety professionals that also possess certification or something. And in the future, there's a lot of people that are aging out in the workplace, and we've got a lot of work to do to maintain that, as with other disciplines as well, but certainly no exception here.
Yes, looking back and given the fact that you're still in business and you're doing quite well, and also on the way you added other companies to your group of companies, what do you think were the key factors that made you and your business successful? Given the environment that a lot of people struggle, of course, safety is always, for us, it's not. I don't like to call it a priority because priorities can change, but to us, it's a value, right? It's something that's inside of us that it's not only work. It's 24/7. It's in us at work, at home, whatever we do, safety has to be on our mind and everything. So it's not like, our engineering work that we do, people might be interested in it. Then there's phases where they're not. But safety is always there, right? I mean, it always has to be taken care of, and very similar with the environmental. But from your point of view, what do you think were the key factors or the key things you did that made you successful?
Well, I think, the first thing you start with, what is it that you want to accomplish? And it's really, in a sense, really a bigger thing than just wanting to start a company. It's really a time of self-examination. And this, Everhard, it's a time to really think of, gosh, what do I want to be doing, 3 years from now, or 5 years from now, or 10 years from now? And, if I wanted to be involved in a bowling alley, okay, well, I need to probably start shopping for bowling alleys to go buy, because I really love setting up pins and buying bowling balls, for example. But you really kind of need to take a look at yourself and what you do want to try to accomplish. And then, if you feel like, based on gifts and talents and knowledge and experience, that you can make a positive difference with that next step that you take, then the next step is really developing a great business plan. And that's going to help codify what it is, what your mission is going to be, I like to say, kind of what's on the other side of the equal sign, A plus B equals C. Okay, so on that other side of the equal sign, what's that look like? In 1 year, in 3 years, in 5 years. And and it, that's really where it starts. And if you can answer that question, and you can see that, man, there is a void out there and a need that needs to be met, well, that's a great start. And then you take a look from there at trying to quantify that need. Currently, who's in the space that's trying to meet the need? How are they doing? You look at, the typical SWOT analysis, the strengths, the weaknesses, and those sorts of things, opportunities, and what the threats are there. And then from there, really kind of get down to quantifying that. Once you quantify what that growth potential looks like on a 1, 3, 5 year basis, then you got to look at funding. You got to be able to justify that business plan. It has to pass the red face test in order to then be able to either, number one, you kind of look at your own wallet and see what you have to get things started, or to be able to justify to either other partners or a banking relationship to get started. So, yeah.
Okay.
Jim, I know your interaction with many of the associations, but specifically with AFPM, has been a kind of a significant efforts over the years, and the inputs, the gives and takes that go with that organization. I know you guys are working. I think the associate board member group. That group there is very unique in the fact that you're not a producer, you're not an operator, but you're one of the chosen group to help work with that organization to provide guidance, to listen back and forth and deal with that. That was certainly, I expect, a significant, not only commitment in time to do that, but also an accomplishment to be recognized by that group, to be invited and be part of that organization like that.
Well, thank you for asking on that. Really that the involvement in the association side started not long after I started my career. I was asked to participate with the American Petroleum Institute on their committee on safety and fire protection, and actually, I'm just going to, for people that haven't been involved in like the American Petroleum Institute or the American Fuel Petrochemical Manufacturers Association or the Gas Processors Association, which we've been affiliated and a part of all of those in the past, it's not a whole lot of things that you're going to be able to do in your day-to-day tasks. It's pretty much nights and weekends, but it's the passion that you need to have for making a positive difference in the industry with your knowledge and experience. It's gathering around the table with like-minded professionals and, working on things to be worked on. I actually had the opportunity to participate in the development of the American Petroleum Institute, the RP 2220, the very first issuance of that, which is back in 1991, and that was improving owner and contractor safety performance. And the API wanted me in there as a contractor to be able to provide that perspective and completion of that standard. And then today, currently, we're associate members of the AFPM Board of Directors, as well as associate members of the American Petroleum Institute. And so we interact with the safety and health committees for those groups and offer our input and perspective and experience. Really, I always look at it as just a give back to the industry that's been so good to us over, over 4 decades. So very important. Yeah. The relationships there are truly golden.
How well spoken. It's funny you mentioned that. I was thinking just as driving in this morning, setting up, that so much of the business that's taking place today there's a certain amount of transactional business that you have to have. Every business plan needs that, but I just relate back to some of the relationship kind of business that we've all worked with, and how that's impacted all of us at different times, both for individuals and careers, but just the amount of time we spend. Like you said, it's not the 9 to 5 time that gets a lot of that done. It's the other days in the week and the other days in the weekends that put those together. So those relationships are critical, I think, have been. I hope that doesn't get lost. I hope the new generation and the AI concepts of I can see all of us AI sitting around a conference table somewhere trying to, it'd be like the Star Wars bar or something like that, right? Yeah.
No, exactly, Stan. You hit it on the head. Thank you.
That wraps up part 2 of episode 7 of The Comical Engineers, Fun and Facts with LCTS. Thank you to our hosts, Eberhard Luca and Stan Spears, for another meaningful discussion with Jim Leffler. In this segment, Jim reminded us that strong relationships, professionalism, and faith are the true cornerstones of safety and leadership. Coming up next in part 3, Jim explores the technologies transforming safety, the growing importance of continuous training, and a comical tailgate story with a message every engineer can appreciate. And as always, follow, share, and subscribe so you won't miss what's next. Until next time,